begin what's trending. President Bola Ahmed TINUBU on Wednesday assured Nigerians that the nation would survive the current economic hardship in the country and took full responsibility for the adverse outcomes of his policy reforms. The president made the comments when he addressed Afenifere leaders at the residence of Pa Ruben Fashoranti in Akure, Ondo State. TINUBU was in Akure to pay a condolence visit to the family of the late Rotimi Akeredolu, former governor of the state. TINUBU told Afenifere leaders that his administration is working to ensure that Nigeria is reformed for greater efficiency and that he is leading Nigeria towards economic and social prosperity. I wanted to make sure that I read out what TINUBU said. I believe Ajuri Ngilali released a statement yesterday. So let's pull up some of his statements there. Well, he wrote, Nigeria will survive the current economic challenges. There is light at the end of the tunnel. I requested the job and I am not complaining about it. I take full responsibility. We are meeting our obligations to the international community, to lenders. We have not defaulted and we are not going to default. We are navigating the twists and bends on the road to Nigeria's prosperity. The economic challenges we have endured since assuming office are not new to me. As the former governor of Lagos State, I faced similar calls for my resignation. But through perseverance, Lagos emerged as the 5th largest economy in the entire continent of Africa. We must manage this moment with wisdom and grow Nigeria responsibly. Well, in the meantime, a video showing President Bola Ahmed TINUBU's convoy when he arrived in Lagos on Wednesday has made the rounds on social media, eliciting reactions in the wake of economic hardship protests that rocked the nation. Well, Rufai, that looks like a reduced convoy, unlike the ones that we have seen in the past. Rufai, you're always smiling. But I actually really liked President Bola Ahmed TINUBU's statement about saying that it is his duty. He chose the job and he knows what he's facing, and somewhat apologizing for the hardship that we are facing at this moment.
Cost of government.
Yes.
Also, your report.
We see the convoy there.
We see the convoy there. So it speaks volumes. But let me even make an excuse for President TINUBU this morning. Let me make a very funny excuse and say, it's not only his convoy. There are people that join him. But is it today? Is it today we see convoys like this? This was not the same convoy he took to a mosque on Lagos Island. People were shouting, "Being Pami."
Being power.
So when people are seeing this kind of convoy so much like this, and for the man yesterday that was comparing Nigeria and the UK and saying, foreign leaders should take their children on foreign trips abroad, can you compare this convoy with that of the British Prime Minister when they are going to Westminster? Can you compare the convoy? Or don't we see the British Prime Minister when the British Prime Minister is moving? They have this number of convoys. So you see, it's the wrong signaling. You say you want to cut cost of governance. People are seeing this kind of convoy. You are not taking the cuts yourself. You are saying one thing, you are doing another thing in return. You say, okay, we are cutting the list to 20. We are seeing 38 people on the list. We haven't seen a luggage man there. I'm like, really?
Right.
Luggage man, special president that his own is luggage.
You expect the president to carry his own luggage?
Fine, come on now. The president But I guess you're asking what is the
so you have a special luggage man there to carry luggage.
Well, his sons could help him since they're going on the trip with him.
His sons, maybe they too have their own luggage people there. So you see the level of waste. The problem, what we need to cause is the waste in government. That's why all this while we keep bloating our recurrent. There's so much waste. There's so much waste. That's what we see. So With this, we are not surprised. We know our lives will be hampered for today. There's going to be traffic everywhere as usual and all of that. But we wish them well. We wish them very well. They should just do right for the Nigerian people. We just want to see more.
Absolutely.
We just want to see more.
And
at least, you know what even shocks me the most?
Go ahead.
In that convoy, I might be wrong, but I didn't see one innocent or not car there. Toyota. I'm counting you. Toyota. Where's the innocent? Where's the innocent? Where's the nod? Where's the innocent?
No free
Where's the innocent? Where's the nod? If those 100 cars, you bought them from innocent.
Yes.
We'll have seen the effects.
We need to see changes.
Japan.
Quick sentence.
I tried to count the cars, about 30 of them, more than 30 of them. But you know, the irony or poetic injustice is if you look on the other side of the road, where he has it is traffic, back-to-back, bumper-to-bumper cars on the other side. And it is a reality and a reflection of the Center of Excellence, whereby we still are plagued with the traffic situation and also the hardship on the people.
People were in drive for 5 hours.
For 5 hours. Well, yesterday, Third Mainland Bridge was closed for 24 hours, so that exacerbated the challenge. Perhaps they didn't plan that as well, very well. If you knew the president was coming, which already is a traffic instigator, then you shouldn't maybe plan to close Third Mainland Bridge as well on the same day. But let me go back to the statement made by the president. And like you mentioned, and I said this earlier, I think it's a good show of leadership to be able to acknowledge a challenge or a problem and take ownership of the problem. What we've seen in the past is a lot of passing the buck. Oh, it's the previous administration. He has said that in the past. But at least this time he said, I understand. But when he said that, oh, the foreign regulators are paying, when I said, you're not the president of the foreign world. Your people, the foreigners might be happy. IMF, World Bank might be praising you. But your people who elected you, or the people whom you're meant to serve, are crying, are suffering. And so at the end of the day, he's not campaigning any longer. He's now governing.
Yeah,
the
but
buck
you also
stops
made
with
that
him.
point about not defaulting on the loans.
On the loans,
so,
yes.
I mean, I thought that was quite
Yeah, so
let's
there's some good things.
Let's look at that as
There's
well.
some good things he said. He's acknowledged it, so good, but please still say that there's still a lot of people suffering and we need to address that. I think that's very important here.
I like that. We'll take another story. As the conversation around the dollarization of Nigeria's economy takes center stage owing to rising inflation, a list of bureau de change operators with unusual names have surfaced online. Well, in 2006, the CBN decided to sell cash directly to BDCs as part of a liberalization program to ensure adequate supply to the sector. At the time, there were less than 100 operational BDCs in Nigeria, with weekly sales of less than $30 million. However, according to the CBN, the number of BDCs stands at 5,690. Well, here's a review of some of the unusual names. I mean, this was circulating on social media. I had to pick some of them, which I thought were ridiculous, really. What is Deep Freezer BDC? I mean, look at that. Then they have a Home Alone and they have a couple. But, you know, I felt like it was quite weird. Like, we saw Happy Ends. Is that Happy Ends or Happy Hour? And then there's Honeymoon BDC. We also had Home Alone BDC, but this is quite ridiculous. It's quite absurd because, you know, if you recall, Godwin Emefiele had, you know, tried to, you know, close ranks on these BDC operators, saying that they are really causing the dollarization of the economy because some of them they are multiple and their own, you know, they're able to act the same person back to back, having the same access to those FX rates. But I thought this was a funny story to pull up.
It's a funny story, and it just shows that these people think that it's all a joke.
Yes.
And at the end of the day, they don't even take the effort or they don't take the time to even come up with creative names to show that they're a legitimate company. What has happened with that opening of the policy with the previous CBN governor to have the CBN sell directly to the BDC so that they also can they can play in the foreign exchange market and also sell further and sell to people, is that people started coming up with ridiculous organizations or called BDCs, and the same promoter could have like 10, 20 to be able to, because they get an allocation from the CBN, to be able to get as much allocation as possible and then dollarize. And this is what promotes a lot of corruption in that space.
Right.
We've talked about round tripping. We've looked at how it's just racketeering. People just taking money, and unfortunately, it has consequences on the economy. You've talked about the dollarization of our country, whereby everybody now we are almost running a dollar-denominated country in Nigeria. I believe that the CBN is the one that licenses these BDCs, and what has been complained about is that the numbers are now even becoming too many for there to be a proper oversight of these BDCs, and that's why we find ourselves in this conundrum that we have with foreign exchange. Of course, not the only contributory factor, but I think it's time to sanitize. And in terms of regulation, the BDCs.
Absolutely.
Let us cut out this nonsense. Look at 14th February. Was he feeling high on Valentine's Day when he named you? I mean, just ridiculous. But it shows how they've taken this as a joke.
Yes,
and they are playing with the economy, the Nigerian economy, and turning it into a farce, into an absolute joke. The onus is on the CBN to get their acts together and really clean up and sanitize and let us know who we have, how much money is being allocated, so that we have a grasp on this, on the issue around forex and BDCs.
All right, I like that. Did you want to say?
Yeah, I wanted to say something. With due respect, I mean, it's also a reflection of the paddyism. My brother, so come, we'll give you BDC license. But, Oji, should I tell you the truth, honestly? It didn't start with the BDCs. It started with the banks. This was what the banks were doing in the late 80s. That's why you saw there was a proliferation of banks. At some point, there were close to 100 banks in this country. What were they doing? They'll get forex, they'll sell forex in the markets, and they'll make the rebates. They were not lending to the real economy. So the BDCs today is just another iteration of what the banks used to be back in the days. And that's just how the country is cycled. So as long as there's special interest, you see the biggest problem in Nigeria is all these funny names you're seeing on BDCs. It's just a reflection of the special interest mechanism that works in this country. So as long as there's special interest, don't worry. Probably we too one day, when we have somebody close there, we can just set up Rufai Ayo and Oji BDC.
No, that's even too serious, because if you look at the names there, none of them are serious.
Okay. Some are serious. I took
rice and beans.
Rice and beans. We will just say crude oil and gas.
No, crude oil and gas. Jinix.
And Ayomi and Rufi on fire BDC.
And what are we going to get?
Now,
really? Probably at the end of the day, they just be giving us, we'll get allocation, about $20,000. Then we know what we'll probably
Unfortunate,
do. We can save it, and you know how it goes in this country.
Well,
most people have made money. Most people higher behind this country have made money from this forex. We should stop deceiving ourselves.
Well, all right. We'll take another